people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. So, the first book on this list is called The Worst Ronin. This story is a YA fantasy graphic novel that follows two women samurai on a quest. And honestly, I know that's a very vague synopsis, which should tell you just how much I liked this book. Spoiler, I didn't, really. I rated this book 3 stars, and I liked it better than Maggie's previous graphic novel, Squad, which I read a few years ago. But, like, this book, I just didn't enjoy it that much. Don't get me wrong, the two characters are well-written, distinct characters. I loved the illustrations. They were very pretty. Honestly, the world building, I didn't really love. Like, I enjoyed, like, the sword fighting scenes, but it really took me out of it that one of the main characters uses a cell phone. Like, how are they so progressive in the world where they have cell phones, but using guns? It's, like, very real. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. You know, and there doesn't seem to be a reason for that, necessarily, within the world. I don't know if that makes any sense. The plot was very engaging, and I enjoyed it. And I don't regret reading this book, but I won't remember it necessarily in the next 6 months, if that makes any sense. So, like I said, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The next book on this list is called Boy 2.0. This story is a middle-grade urban fantasy following a young black main character who discovers that he has superpowers at his new foster home. This story is absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. First of all, the world building is so good, and it's so immersive. I loved how the author tackled so many different conversations about, like, foster homes and how it feels when you're jumped from home to home to home, about found family and family in general. Like, this book is so good. Also, with the superpowers, they didn't really feel, like, cheap or juvenile. They felt really realistic and well done. The characters are well developed and distinct. The plot was so engaging. The mystery was so captivating. I loved the friendships and the found family. Like, this book is so good. I just really enjoyed it so much. So with that said, I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I would definitely highly recommend it. I had really low expectations prior to reading this book because I think that I've DNF'd a few books before by this author, or at least one. But this book was so good, and I'm so glad that I read it because it was just really good. So anyway, with that said, like I said before, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Samira's Worst Best Summer. This story is a middle-aged contemporary following a young Indian-American Muslim main character who feels that she's going to have the worst summer ever after her best friend breakup. But after her house gets TP'd, she finds community, which sounds like it wouldn't happen. But this book was so good. I've read Nina's previous book a few years ago, and it was absolutely so good. And I do definitely prefer that book over this book, but this book was so good. Like, the character development, the friendships, the plot, the family dynamics. I love, like, the main character's relationship with her grandmother as well as with her brother. This book is done so well. The plot is so engaging and it's so well done. I loved the community surrounding, like, her neighborhood. This book is excellent and it's so wholesome. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. This book reminded me of the same vibe, the same atmosphere as, like, The Science of Friendship, which I really enjoyed a few months ago. This book is excellent and I just really enjoyed it. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. Like I said, the friendships are so wonderful and so realistic. The characters make so much sense. This book is full of heart and humor, and it's done so well. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called A Dark and Drowning Tide. This book is probably the most popular on this list, but anyway, for those who don't know, this book is an adult fantasy that follows a sapphic main character who is teaming up with her academic rival to solve her mentor's murder. Honestly, I really liked this book much more than I was expecting to. I had really low expectations for this book because, like, typically I don't really read adult books, but lately I've been reading more and more adult books lately, and this book, I'm so glad that I trusted the author's reputation because I've read Allison's 2 YA books previously, Down Comes the Night and A Fall Wilder Magic, and definitely A Fall Wilder Magic still remains my favorite out of her books. But anyway, like, her world building is so magical and it's so immersive, and it's so fantastic. The plot was so engaging and so intriguing. I loved the magic so much. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The sapphic academic rivals to lovers was done so well. Typically, I don't really enjoy rivals to lovers or enemies to lovers in general, just because it feels so unserious. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, the romance was so cute and it's so adorable. I definitely really enjoyed it. The murder mystery was also very intriguing and very exciting. Like, this book is very, very good. However, I will say, if I want a sequel, I want a sequel where I learn more about the politics and the world building and not necessarily the romance. If that makes any sense. Typically when readers say they want a sequel, what they really want is a one-shot fanfic about their favorite romance or their favorite characters, but I'm way more interested in the politics and the world building, if that makes any sense. But anyway, overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. It's definitely worth all its hype and so much more. So with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Noodle and Bao. This story is a middle-grade contemporary graphic novel that follows a young Asian main character who helps stand against gentrification with her friend's food cart. Does that make any sense? Anyway, this book was so good, and I just really, really enjoyed it, so I rated it 4 stars. When I first started this book, my first impression was that the art is so whimsical and so wholesome, but I was afraid the story would become too juvenile, if that makes any sense. But the fact that it's about gentrification and, like, the author wrote it so well raised my rating from a 3 to a 4. This book is so good. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. Like, the world building is excellent. I loved all the Asian representation. This book is so good. I just really, really enjoyed it. I think that I'm going to make a video dedicated to my favorite Asian graphic novel soon, but I'm not completely sure on that. But anyway, this book is excellent. It's so fantastic. It's just really, really good. The illustrations are so pretty and so whimsical. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, my October reading month has gone very, very well so far. Today is October 15th, I think. So there's that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the turtle emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!